Yeah, so hey guys, welcome to this new episode. Yeah, we are on schedule actually, so congrats on us. And yeah, we have a lot of releases this time, like this November and September and October, but this season of the year basically. But yeah, we got a lot to
Yeah.
talk about, you guys.
Yeah, so what a surprise. DJI event and of course the long time waited 12th gen Intel Core processors.
Yeah,
So
but before we tell
stay
you
tuned,
about
but before Matthias will tell you a story.
Yeah, so before we tell you about these amazing releases, I got a little like story time I can tell you that actually happened today. And it has a lot to do with today, or not a lot, but it has to do with today's theme. Yeah, so in school we were actually 3D printing our own drone. Like not everyone, but only my group. And
That's nice.
yeah, the idea of 3D printing a drone is normally like a very good idea, like do it yourself, all this stuff. Yeah, you will learn about it, they said. But 3D printing at school, yeah, there it starts to be a problem, because at school, like, yeah, it's 3D printing. That's not fairly easy at school. So, guys, you can imagine how
Where
it
you have limited time.
also, but guys, you can imagine how that went. You can already tell. Yeah, so it happened like the day before today. I don't know when you're listening at it, but 20 hours before, we had our class, tech class, it's called. And yeah, with my group, we decided to do a drone with our own circuit boards and stuff. Yeah, and I was like in charge of 3D printing and this stuff. So yeah, computer, okay, send it to the 3D printer. Yeah, it starts a little slow. I said like, okay, and it starts to be all very very dense. So I said like, nice, it will be very strong. It won't break like the first 20 crashes we will have, and yeah, so it was fairly good. Yeah, we got 1.5 hours of this class. 20 minutes before class end, I just sent it in. So I said like, yeah, it will print like all the day long and stuff. The day goes by. It was like I think 6 hours of printing, and it was at 60%, I think. So yeah, not too bad. We've had to pause it because we cannot leave the printer like alone. It's like a baby. And yeah, next day comes here. I go to the tech room, 3D printing, all good. Until it's 11:55 in the morning. Almost end of school day because we end like very soon in my school. And yeah, I look at the printer. I'm like, yeah, why do I have to watch at this? Look at this. Like, you can print by yourself. I don't need to help you. But then I look at it, and it was like moving, but it was not printing. It was like already like 6 or 7 layers that it didn't print at all. And then I call the teacher. Like, I go like crazy. Like, why is not printing? Like, what's going on? The biggest problem is that the filament got stuck in the extruder. So yeah, we tried taking it out, like pulling it out, like very very hard with everything we could, but then then the teacher decided no, just take it apart and try to take it off. So I was in math class, so yeah, but we had like our teacher was not there, so there was any other teacher, and I said like, yeah guys, just tell them that I'm here so they don't put me like I was not in the class. I was actually not, but you know the 100% assistance is pretty nice to have it. Well, I don't have it, but okay. The thing is, it got stuck and stuck and stuck, and it didn't come out. So on Monday we'll have to try to figure out, and I will like, if you want to, keep you up with the stucky theme. So yeah, if you swipe up on Spotify, actually, you can answer if you want to me to keep you up with the drone stuck sing story or not. So just like swipe up for the lyrics, for example, and you can answer this very question. Yeah. So
Yeah, so actually we did this in the two last episodes. The last episode we asked you what do you want us to talk about in the next episode. I haven't read any suggestions, so we're just doing this. And the episode before that, we made a Q&A about what the most of you think about the new MacBooks. And there's a tie between the three options there are. So one really wants it, another thinks it's overpriced but good, and a third person thinks it's not worth the hype. So let's see if those results change.
yeah, guys,
And yeah,
you might ask yourself why I told you this school story about printing a drone. And drone is the word I would use to introduce the next topic. Mavic 3 has finally arrived after like 2 years. We finally have the DJI Mavic 3 and Mavic
years?
3 Cine. Yeah, I think it's 3 years.
last year was I don't know.
Well, Martin, I'm here from the future, and it was actually released on April 27th, 2020. So, both of us were wrong. You were less wrong than I was, but I was very wrong with 3 years. So, yeah, let's continue with the podcast. I think it was three or 2 years, but I'm pretty sure it was 3 years.
Well, remember we told you last episode there were rumors about having two cameras and stuff? Well, that was all true. We have a Hasselblad 4/3 sensor with 20 megapixels and an equivalent focal length of 24 millimeters with an aperture from 2.8 to 11.
That's actually
this new
that's
sense-
actually pretty cool to have like an adjustable aperture, because on my Mini 2
Yeah,
I
and
only
money-
have 2.8, and like I don't want to have like that wide of a lens when I want to do like, I don't know, long exposure or stuff. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
actually.
and for example, most of the cell phones don't have a variable aperture, and having this is just another step closer to a professional
I would
camera.
say that's a point for
So, yeah.
Samsung, because on the S9 Plus and S9 they had a variable aperture. So Samsung, you got a point for me.
Yeah. Well, thanks to the bigger sensor, we have 12.8 stops of dynamic range and better low light performance. And we have, of course, another camera. Matthias, what do you say about that?
It's just amazing to have a second camera. Of course, not another wide camera, but a 28 times hybrid zoom with 7 times optical zoom. That's basically 162 millimeters, and this one f4.4. So not that open, but that's good, because on that far of a distance you want to have more detail. And this camera is only available, to say it in a way, in Explorer mode. So that's the mode you will have on the app. But yeah, the only downside actually to this secondary camera is that you cannot shoot on RAW. You only can shoot JPEGs. So I would
But still,
I would
is
have loved to have,
a
yeah,
it's still a 1-inch sensor. So thanks, at least we have a good sensor for that camera.
yeah.
Well, this is a Hasselblad camera, so it has Hasselblad colors, one of the best in the world. You know, there are the full frame or medium format cameras from Hasselblad that cost like 30K, and here you have all that technology in a small drone that cost tan tan tan. You'll know that later. So that's pretty nice to have. And thanks to the new sensor, we can film up to 5.1K and 50 FPS, and 4K 120 like the new industry standard, and 1080p at 240 FPS. So you'll get pretty nice slow motion shots.
This kind of means
With your
that, for
drone.
example, on the DJI FPV, you won't have to put a GoPro or a Insta360 on it, but you will actually be able to film it all from the original camera with the Hasselblad, much
Yeah.
better than a DJI or
Yeah.
Osmo or
And this
something.
sensor is much bigger than the one on GoPro, so that's nice.
Yeah, so we also got 10-bit D-Log, so raw video. That's
No. D-Log is just a flat profile. The D is for DJI, and for example, for Sony you have S-Log, for Canon C-Log, for Nikon N-Log, and that's just a flat profile where you can later on post-production do better color grading, but still not having raw image. So that's for H.264 and H.265.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
another bucket point on this one is the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. So on the DJI Air 2S, for example, we didn't have like 360 coverage for obstacle avoidance. Yeah, that's what DJI says at least, and I believe them. But on this drone, we have much better obstacle avoidance, and I saw it on the DJI page. The drone can actually like see, before it was 20 meters in front, but now it can see up to in perfect conditions, of course, up to 200 meters in front. So it can like plan very
Wow.
good routes. For example, on the advanced return to home, that's the new feature as well. It determines the optimal route to go as quick and as efficient as possible to the home point. So it doesn't go like up to like, I don't know, 100 meters, go straight line and go down. But now with all the sensors and cameras, because it's basically cameras, what it has, it will determine the best route and how to go to the home point the fastest and most efficient way. And it also
And safest way.
safest way as well. And it won't like go directly to the home point, but it will do everything it can, like a little bit adjust the
Not to crash.
no, but also not to crash, but also to reconnect so that the drone doesn't have to fly back, and so you want to go back to where you were. So that's pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, that's called, I think, APAS 5.0, or the system that does like this 3D rendering for the drone to navigate.
Yeah.
So now with O3 Plus, we have a transmission range of 15 kilometers with 1080p at 60 FPS signal. So that's pretty good for doing risky maneuvers and stuff, just seeing everything very fluid so you don't crash. And this time we have 64
46 minutes.
of flight.
46
No,
minutes.
sorry, German interfering again. 46 minutes of flight and 50 kilometers transmission. And of course, we have, like every year, a better version of Active Track. This time we are on 5.0, so it will be a little more precise than last year. So yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
We have also master shots. That's like the new quick shots, like that we have in the other drones, and those are for facilitate your work doing cinematic shots without having to do everything yourself.
Comparing now this all these characteristics with my Mini 2, I don't have any. I don't have 15 kilometers range of transmission. I don't have 46 minutes of battery life. I have like 31, I think it's, and I don't have active track. So guys, it's maybe worth the investment, but you will see later why it may
But-
not.
You have it better than me. I have 15 minutes flight, and I think it's less than that because my drone is already 3 years old. I have active track, but not even 5 kilometers or so with transmission. It's supposed to do 2, but I can't do more than 500 meters, so that wouldn't be so bad to have an upgrade.
No.
But with the prices that you will know right now, it's difficult.
Yeah. Just keep the suspense a little bit, Martin. We don't want them
Okay.
to go.
Okay.
Yeah, so We also
We don't wanna scare them off.
yeah, we also got Wi-Fi 6 quick transfer. That's to transfer files from your drone to the phone. That's very fast actually. Wi-Fi 6, it's multiple gigabytes per second, I think it's up to. And the active track, going back to it, with all the 360 sensor it has, it will use like always the best route, so it's not like pre-made stuff. So you can also do like how it's called, moves, like preset moves, so it follows you that way.
I like to move it.
Yeah, so you can preset some moves, and with all the sensors, if there's a tree or something, it will avoid it without losing you. And if it ever loses you from its side, it will like keep the trajectory, so it like will compute where you were going, and it will like go in that direction and try to find you, and it will find you and then keep tracking you, so it won't disable. That's pretty nice. Yeah, we also got another release, the Dji Rc Pro. This is, as you know, last year was, I think, unveiled, or the year before.
The year before that.
Yeah, 2019 basically. It's the controller, but with an integrated screen, so you don't have to take your phone every time, your iPad or stuff, so you don't have to plug so much things in. But in this time, we got better battery life, also 15 kilometers range, and 1,000 nits display. That's very, very bright.
That's good for flying outdoors when the sun is hitting directly onto your screen. It's very helpful to have. For example, my phone has, I think, 300 nits, and it gets a little bit difficult sometimes.
So not every phone has 1,000 nits, so just be thankful for DJI. Be thankful. Yeah. Talking about being thankful or not so much, here we got, and we will finally unveil the prices. But as always, there is multiple versions of the drone. The normal Mavic 3, the Flymore Combo, and the Mavic 3 Cine.
So the normal Mavic 3 comes, of course, with a normal remote control, 3 different types of remote cables for Lightning, micro USB and USB-C, 1 battery, 3 pairs of spare propellers, which are very quiet compared to the ones a few years ago, a 65 watt USB-C power adapter, a drone case to protect the camera, gimbal, a USB-C cable, and 8 gigabytes of internal storage for 2,099 euros.
Yeah, the second version is, as always, the Flymore Combo, the one you should always buy because it's cheaper than buying everything separately. We got here the normal RC, that is like the controller of the Mini 2 or the Air 2S, but this time with 15 kilometers range. That's standard for now. We got, as before, the remote cables, Lightning, micro USB and USB-C, 3 batteries this time, which are massive. Like, remember, 46 minutes flight time, so that's 2 actual hours of flight time with the Flymore Combo. If you can't find any good shots with that, like, sorry, but retire yourself. And yeah, 6 pairs of spare propellers, as always, 65 watts power adapter, which is very, very fast. The charging station for the 3 batteries, which doesn't charge them at the same time, but consecutively. So you charge,
I don't know.
Yeah, you charge one, when that's full, the other, and then the other. So
with my charging station, it's all at a time.
Welcome 2021,
I don't
Martin.
know.
We're not in 2017 now. It's so that when you are flying and you have to charge one, you got 1 full battery and not like 3 at 10%. So it's made for that. We got also the ND filter set, which is like custom made for this drone because the camera module is double.
It has 2 cameras.
You will see it if you Google it, you will see that it's not like very like square, but it's like the picture DJI is shared. That's a pretty nice way to show it. Well, it comes also with a typical bag, the standard 8 gigabyte internal storage, and all this for 2,799 euros. So that's 700 euros more than the other one, but buying the battery separately, the ND filter separately, the straight propellers, and all the stuff, it will cost you like more than €1,000 to buy
Yeah.
it separately. So just buy the fly more combo if you have the money.
And last but not least, Mavic 3 Cine. In here we have the new RC Pro controller, the one we talked about before. 3 batteries, 6 pairs of spare propellers. We don't get the different remote cables because this is another remote controller, and you don't need this cable to connect the phone to the controller in case your Wi-Fi is not that good. Of course, the 65-watt USB-C power adapter again, the charging station, the drone case, a USB-C cable, 2 ND filter set, like before the set with ND4, 8, 16 and 32, and now ND64, 128, 256 and 512. Of course, like in every combo, we get a back, and this time we get a 10 gigabits per second USB-C cable to transfer the storage, the files that are stored in the 1 terabyte internal storage. So that's pretty amazing. You don't have to worry about filling your storage app or forgetting SD cards. You now have it all in the drone. And you might think, okay, you get a lot of things, but why is there just a combo for that? And why is it called Cine? Well, we get a new codec in here, Apple ProRes 422 HQ. So now professional filmmakers can color grade the footage the way they like, not losing so much information, and all that for the price of 4,799 euros. So almost double the Flymore combo.
Guys, so you have a
Wow.
little bit of perspective. I'm here on the DJI page, and the ND filters, the set of 4 ND filters, each is for 180 USD. The carry bag 320 USD. The charging cable and adapter $80. The battery hub is $90, and the intelligent battery is $210. And the RC Pro.
So just with the 3 batteries, you have almost the difference of
Exactly.
the normal and the combo.
And the RC Pro
Wow.
is for $1,200. So there you know why the price is so elevated. And for you guys who don't live in Europe, and you are not sure what euros are in dollars, the Mavic 3 normal is at $2,200. The Mavic 3 Flymore combo $3,000, and the Mavic 3 Cine premium combo, that's how DJI calls it, it's at $5,000.
Yeah.
So that's in USD. Yeah, it's just
Pretty amazing.
amazing. To have 1 terabyte into a drone, that's just bangers. Like, what? And did I mention that on January next year, of course, there will be a firmware update so that you can unlock every functionality, because for now there's not everything available. So the drone, you can buy it now, but it would be like fully worth it, to say it in a way, in January 2020. And with that, you can unlock the SIM card dongle. What's that, you mean? Now you have internet on the drone. Kind of. You can connect a dongle to the drone that DJI will sell, and you will have connection through 4G. So you can actually control the drone through the 4G, and you won't have this 15-kilometer limitation, but you will have a limitation of 4G. So if there is internet, there's the drone.
And I want to mention also that, for example, the Mavic 2 Pro, the last generation of Mavic drones, we had also 20 megapixel photos, but 1-inch sensor, and we got just 31 minutes of flight time. So it got not multiplied, but added by a lot. And the video transmission was just 1080p 30. So that's nice to have those improvements. And for example, Active Track, it was Active Track 2.0, and now we have 5.0. So
that's nice. Yeah,
massive improvement.
I forgot to tell you guys, DJI is like keeping it up with the dongle and extra stuff. They also made a wide angle lens for the drone at $180, but you can
Yeah.
you get a 108 degrees point of view with a equivalent 15.5 millimeters on the lens, so that's very wide. That's like the competition for the GoPro. So for $180, you don't have to put a GoPro on the drone. That's cheaper than a GoPro Hero 10, for example.
And you just put it in the camera like a normal ND filter, but you put just this lens in
So
front
you
of it.
don't lose as much flight time because of the weight. Yeah.
Yep.
Martin, you wanna keep up? DJI, we already talked about them. Intel is now the theme.
Yeah, so Intel back in the game. They had a lot of competition from AMD, and now they're, I would say, in pair again. So they launched the 12th generation of Intel Core processors, codename Ada Lake. So they have a hybrid architecture, and they are more like the M1 processors now, I would say, because they have power or productivity cores and efficiency cores. So they made the Apple move, I would say. We got up to 16 cores if you count them together on the i9, and up to 5.2 gigahertz. That's a lot.
Yeah.
We got now with DDR5 RAM memory that's pretty new. We got maximal 128 gigabytes of RAM. You have to keep in mind that DDR5, like, it's new, it's quicker, but it's more expensive, and you will have to upgrade your motherboard. And for example, for the new processors with the new architecture, you'll also have to upgrade the motherboard.
You have to upgrade the motherboard anyways because there's a new socket, the LGA 1700. So that's the new socket. And to continue with the processor, it's ARM based. And yeah, guys, you don't understand.
We are not the most experts
Basically.
in this field.
But we are expert in one field: price. The i9 12,900K, like the name says, with K, like 1,000, could
yeah,
cost
this
around,
means
it could cost around 1,000 USD, of course, for the desktop edition.
yeah, these are just the desktop versions. The mobile versions of the 12th gen Intel processors will launch, I think, in 2 to 3 months, from what I've heard. So you have to wait for that. And talking performance, when you give these chips enough power or the ability to take power, they will do just amazing things. Especially the i9. They are supposed to work with 125 watts normally, but I've seen reviews that the i9, when it needed good performance, took up to 250 watts.
Which is
So
amazing.
it doubles it. So you have to keep that in mind. And the i5, wow.
Yeah.
That
So
was, I think, the best upgrade.
they actually
keep
talking
up.
performance. They actually tried it on, but I'm not very sure if it was like the best pay to take it. But they checked it, and it may have like 38% better FPS rate than the Ryzen 9, the best Ryzen 9 there is. So if that's true, and
Are you talking about the i5 or the i9?
the i9, of course, the i9, the best against
That will
the
be the
best.
Ryzen 5950X. I think that has 16 cores with just performance cores. So that's amazing. And also the i5 could keep up in some tasks with this processor. So it got a huge upgrade. The
They
i5.
are basically doing the same as Apple, and with that, the performance just went like crazy up, of course, and they are like competing with the best of the best, not with the best.
Again.
So, yeah, we will have to check the i9 12900K against the M1 Pro Max. or Pro Max, or how Apple
Pro Max.
Pro Max. It would make more sense, like Apple stuff.
Yeah.
Well, of course, this CPU is also compatible with Thunderbolt 4. So if there is a laptop version,
That's, I think, an Intel technology Thunderbolt. So that's normally, but Ryzen processors aren't mostly compatible with Thunderbolt. But I think there is the first motherboard that supports Thunderbolt 4 and Ryzen chips. I think some Asus Zen Creator or something like that. But this was just reserved for Intel because I think they made the technology. And of course, talking about the Apple Move, this processor has newly specific video encoders. So it will be easier to edit with this processor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Reminding you guys, all this for only $1,000. Oh, that's what we
But just the
suspect, because
the
it's
i9,
not at the. It's not
the
100% sure, but that's for the i9
the
for the best
i5
creatives.
will
Basically.
be $10 expensive or more expensive than the Ryzen 5. So
Not
for
that
the
much.
performance boost you get, yeah, you'll have to evaluate which one you will take. So
Do you go Intel or you go
we're
Ryzen?
thrilled to see everything.
Android or iOS, basically.
Not necessarily.
It's like the same question you have to ask yourself. Do I go with one or the other? And once you decide, you cannot leave them, because it's just Thunderbolt against no Thunderbolt, for example, or better GPU than the CPU there, or the internal GPU.
But normally you won't use that. You'll put an external or dedicated GPU.
We hope so.
RTX.
We hope so. If you got $1,000 for a processor, you get another like 1,000 or 2,000 bucks for
Yeah,
another
GPUs
GPU.
are very expensive right now because of the shortage.
Yeah.
When they are in stock, every Bitcoin miner buys them, so they're never available.
Lucky we don't have any
And,
shortage of themes for this podcast. And guys, we will see you at the next one.
Bye bye.
Bye.